Welcome back to Investing in Trading Live, sponsored by TradingAcademy.com. My name is Josh Lilquist. On the last segment, we covered a few different topics on the different ways to learn how to trade and invest, and you have to have a coach. And it's not about just guessing where to get in your investments or where to get out your investments. It's about having a strategy that's designed to follow those institutions or banks, institutions, whatever you want to call them. We call them the big money or the elephants in the room because they move price. They move the market. So the strategy that we talk about is how to follow that, and where you find that is on a price chart. That is price within a certain amount of time. That cannot lie. That cannot be something that can be fabricated on TV or the interweb or whatever that may be. So that's what we covered on that last segment. We had a lot of people that wanted to know more about that, Al, and they texted in for these investing classes. So if you did miss seats for a free investing class to learn these techniques and concepts that we cover retirement on this segment, I just let the cat out of the bag. But text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing to the number 210-210. Now that's for 2 seats for an investing class and an insider's kit. So when you get set up for that class, you'll also receive an insider's kit. There's some techniques and concepts on how to get started right away, some OTA picks in there, some picks on stocks. So make sure to pick that up when you come into the class. You can also go to investwithota.com. That's investwithota.com and pick your own seat for that class. This goes right to our landing page, and you can pick your own date there. So, Al, we got into a little bit about income strategies. We haven't talked a whole lot about futures, Forex, options. We talked some kind of more stock concepts today. But there are other assets in the market. Some have leverage, and there's ways to speed things up with leverage. You have to use proper capital management around that. But in this segment, let's talk about those retirement strategies, different techniques or ways to protect your accounts. So obviously markets are going up again. Hopefully people are doing well. But if you want to be able to keep those profits and not just have them go down as markets fluctuate, think of the market as an accordion. It goes up and it goes down. So the accordion is actually vertical.
You're holding it up, so you're
yeah. For the YouTube viewers, they're seeing it is a vertical accordion here, right? So that's what the market does. It fluctuates. And there are ways to lock in profits and collect profits with options.
Right.
There are ways to protect your portfolio with options. And also there are strategies that are designed to profit in no matter which direction the market goes. So I want you to cover some of those different retirement strategies on this segment here.
Well, it's interesting that Wall Street pretty much concentrates on only one part of your financial life, and that's that wealth retirement part. But unfortunately, you can't have a good retirement, you can't have a big wealth portfolio unless you first concentrate on the income part of your life. You have to have additional money from your job or whatever your income comes from after all the bills are paid and you have some fun with it to put into a retirement account. So first of all, we want to concentrate on that income portion if you're still working. What happens when you retire? When you retire, the income from your job is gone, but the bills still are there. The cost of living is still there. Maybe even is higher when you go into retirement. So being able to generate income in retirement is very important too. But the number one thing, and you kind of hit on it, is when you go into retirement, you've worked maybe 30 or 40 years, the money that you have worked hard for, whatever that amount ends up being, you want to make sure it stays with you. Once you go into retirement, you don't get a do-over. If you're 20 or in your early 30s, late 20s, you still have an opportunity to redo things. But once you're 65, 70, that's kind of over. You have to deal with what you have.
So what you're saying is, remember that game we used to play, you'd throw the ball or try to throw it over the roof?
Right.
And if it didn't go over, you said pig's tail, which means you don't get a do-over, right? That means do-over. You don't get that in your retirement account?
You do not. In golf, sometimes you can do
a mulligan.
Right.
You sound like you've done a lot of those.
I have spent a fortune on golf balls, which are at the bottom of a lake or hidden in the woods somewhere, or maybe through somebody's screen porch.
I've done that.
I think we all have. But the point is that there are different ways of approaching the market for income as there is for retirement. And Wall Street concentrates on only really one of the two. That's the wealth retirement part. But you can't have that unless you first of all have addressed the income part. in retirement. And here's the sad thing: we see a lot of people coming in, Josh, that even though we have had a roaring bull market since the early 2009s, they're in trouble in retirement. They realized that they had relied on something called a 401k or 403b or whatever your employer sponsored retirement plan is called. They were led to believe that that was going to be the panacea for them. If they just put money every week or every month out of their paycheck into their retirement accounts, they'd be in great shape. What they're realizing now is that was one of those misconceptions that is so common in the financial markets. So what do you do? What do you do if you find yourself in retirement and maybe there isn't enough money there? Well, there are strategies that you can use that will help you to rebuild, help you to continue to grow those accounts. And some of them Josh just mentioned, the options market, the futures market, the foreign exchange market. A lot of people are afraid of those markets because they have heard stories about people that have tried to use them that haven't done well. And I'll tell you right now, those people that did that and didn't do well had no idea what they were doing.
Exactly. Not educated, they haven't built the skill, and they were just hoping it'd work.
Exactly. Or they might have listened to something on YouTube and figured, this is a fantastic way for me to become rich. And
That's what we've been talking about all day here.
Yeah, and they start doing something that they have no idea really how to do properly, and they don't have anybody to get help from. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we provide here. If you asked our students what the biggest benefit at being at the Trading Academy is, I think they would say it's the community aspect. It's the coaching, the mentoring, the guidance that's provided even after you've gone through the knowledge part of it.
Well, I was just saying, let's talk about that a little bit, because there's something to say about a community of something, right? Whether it's your community at your local gym, or your church, or your sports, your youth sports that you have. It's a community of tight-knit people, right? And that's the same thing you need in investing and trading. It doesn't really exist anywhere else. That's why we have actual place to go here in Bloomington, where people come in and trade together. They bounce ideas off each other. And I want you to just talk a little bit about why it's so important to have like-minded people in your corner and doing things with you.
Well, if you're hanging around with people that have the same objective that you do, the same goal, and that's to be successful as a trader or investor, that also helps to motivate you. It also provides people that you can bounce ideas off of. We have a lot of students here who have been around for a long time and are really excellent traders, and they're more than happy to spend time with our newer students or maybe people that may be struggling for some reason. They will help mentor you. But when you come into it's sort of like being part of a country club. If you join a country club and the majority of the people there are golfers, you're probably going to find your golf game improves because people are going to be giving you ideas and hints, and they help guide you. If somebody's watching you swing and they notice something you're doing wrong, maybe they point that out to you. The same thing is true in trading and investing. We have people that come into our center sometimes every week and just spend time with other students to improve what they're doing, but also help these other students to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's nice seeing local faces and frequent faces. I could almost call it frequent flyer miles, but it's nice having the community around and just like-minded people, because if you hang around the right people. And then what's the saying? You're the five closest people you hang around.
You're most like the five people that you hang around with the most.
And we all have those different types of friends, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just being around the right people, especially for your financial future. And if you have goals or aspirations, you might want to be around people that have those same type of goals and aspirations, and then you can work together, push each other to do better. And that's the cool thing about at Trading Academy here, local here in Bloomington. But these classes that you teach here, Alan, I know we've had a lot of people texting in and actually going to the URL, the investmentwithota.com website to come into this class. But we've had a lot of people that have came to these classes and say, I've been listening to you guys on the radio for a while, and I'm glad you talked about some of these things that I've never heard about. And I said, well, what took you so long to come in? Well, I just didn't know what to do. Well, the first thing you got to do is just come into these classes. And yeah, that's sometimes a hard thing to do if it's a foreign place, you've never been there before. But you know what? Nothing will change if you do the same thing over and over, which could be nothing. Now, I want to invite people to do something a little bit different and take that next step, which is an investing class to get started. So simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210. And that's for 2 seats for this investing class here in Bloomington. Or you can go to investwithota.com. This is for 2 seats. We've had a lot of fun here on the show. I have a good time talking about the show, even in your orange sweatshirt here today. But let's hear today's. Let's hear today's OTA tip of the week.
Okay, well, Josh, we often talk about how important attitude and mindset is. So, it's when you stop thinking small that you start to achieve big things. The goals that scare you the most, those are the ones that are worth pursuing and will make you better once you go after them. But it all starts with your mind. If you think positively and convince your mind that you can do something, then you're more than likely going to be able to do it. On the other hand, if you tell yourself that a goal is too big or that it's impossible, you're stunting your own growth. The only thing that is a real limit that you have are the ones that you create inside your own mind. Too many never achieve their full potential because of the wrong mindset. So don't just set goals, set big goals and stick to them.
Sounds like was a Casey Kasem reaching for the stars for a little bit, but also it kind of made me remind me, and he really instills that with his players is I believe. Do you believe? Yeah, I believe, right? And if you believe, you can achieve. Come into one of these investing classes and get started. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats or investwithota.com. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my friends.